How's it going, guys? Happy New Year's Eve. If it's not New Year's Eve for you, I'm sorry. Happy, whatever day it is from wherever you're from. Welcome to the part 7 of our Python beginner series, and in this part we're going to be talking about if-else statements, otherwise known as control flow statements. To start off, let's remind ourselves of something called Booleans, okay? So Booleans is anything that returns true or false, okay? True also returns true by itself. So this is a Boolean, okay? Just to show what true looks like in Python, which is right here. That's how true looks like. This is also a Boolean, false. Okay, a Boolean could either only be true or false, okay? So another type of Boolean could be, well, this is also Boolean, like we learned in the last part, that this is less than. Is 200 less than 30? Well, this should be false, right? That's a Boolean. If we did, is 200 greater than 30? This is true. So it's either true or false. Another example that could be result in a Boolean, which is true or false, is like I showed in the strings tutorial, which I'll suggest right here in the top right of this video. This is also Boolean. Is the string name equal to the string name? Yes, of course it is. This is not. This is not equals. What? This is hence the reason false. Now, another way to evaluate Booleans are with and ors, right? So what does that mean? Well, we have, let's say 200 less than 30. Okay, we know this is false, but actually what we can do is add another condition. So this evaluates to false as we know it, okay, just to double check. But we can add an and here. So this is a keyword in Python. So that means you can't use this as a variable name. This is only used for Python purposes. That sounds kind of weird. So 200 is less than 30, that will evaluate false. What if we added a keyword and? So we add another condition now called, let's say, Stanley equals to Stanley. Okay, so what this means is this whole thing is now a condition, okay? A condition evaluates to a Boolean. This whole thing is a Boolean, and we're going to evaluate this first. This is a Boolean in itself. This is false because 200 is not less than 30. And this is going to evaluate to true. So we're going to have false and true. That evaluates to false. In between an and statement, you must have both of the conditions to be true, right? Imagine I said, I will only go if I have ice cream and candy. So what that means is if you don't have candy or ice cream, I'm not going to go. In this case, our ice cream is this Boolean, right? This becomes false. Hence, the whole thing becomes false. That's probably a bad example. I will try to find a better example in the future. Or only need, so there's one keyword is and, the next keyword is or, and or all that means is we need something to be, we only need one of them to be true, okay? And if we have ands, we need both the conditions to be true. For and, we need both the conditions to be true in order for the whole condition to be true. If we have or, we only need one of them to be true. So in this case, this evaluates to, we know that this evaluates to false, this evaluates to true. Since both are not true, but with using an and, this will become false. However, if we say this becomes true because this is a true statement, this is a true statement, and we use and in between. What if we added or? And this is, we're checking this less than, well, this is not going to work well. This is not going to be the same as and, because we only need one of them to be true, and Stanley is indeed equal to Stanley, even though 200 is not less than 30. We only need one of them to be true to evaluate the whole thing to be true. Hopefully that's clear. If it's not, feel free to ask more questions in the comments. Let's get started on how to initialize an if-else. So For an if statement, all you really need to do is if, and then we add a boolean here. So let's just say we had, if we had 200 is less than 30. Okay, so this is a boolean. We know this evaluates to something just by looking at it, but sometimes it's not very obvious. We're just making it very obvious for this part in the series. So say if we had, a number called 30, and we didn't know this was 30, okay? This was inputted by the user. Well, we say if 200 is less than a number, then we'll do something, right? So we know that in this case it's obvious, but in many cases it shouldn't be. So the syntax is we have if, and then we have a boolean, okay? Sometimes you can put brackets around the condition or boolean, so condition if you want, but it's up to you. I'm using condition and boolean interchangeably, but in an if else statement, it's better to say a condition, and a condition evaluates to a boolean, which becomes true or false. So if 200 is less than a number, and then so if this is true, we're gonna say number. We're gonna print out number is less than 200. Okay. Else, we're gonna print out number is more than 200. Okay. So this is going to be printed out if this condition is true. Okay, so this is when you're inside a if block. So we see that it's very important to indent it. Anything that's indented past the line of an if statement, that is the actions we're going to take. So I can print something more here. I can print lol here. It'll do both these lines because it's indented. So all of this is considered to be a code block. And then we have an else, which we go back and an indent, and we have an action if this were to be false. Okay, so if we printed this, we know this is false, so it should jump to the else action, which is becomes true. I hope that makes sense. Again, if I am not explaining it clearly, please let me know down in the comments. So that's how it works. We have if, and then we have some action, we have else, and then we have some action. If the boolean evaluates to true, we will do the action that's below if, or the command that's below if. If the command, if this is false, then we just jump right to the else. What if we wanted another condition? What if we don't just want to know if the number is less or more than 200? What if the number is actually 200 and we want to know that it's equal? Well, we have something called elif. Elif just means you get to add another condition. That's all that means, right? If 200 is equal to number, okay? Print number is equal to 200, okay? So first it checks this boolean. This is false. Then it checks this boolean. This is true. So hence we're gonna evaluate this command. So if we run this code, we see that number is equal to 200. However, what if this, just a sanity check, if we did 199, okay? So number is, oh, sorry, I got this backwards. Sorry about that. This should be less than, okay? If we have a number that is, the thing I just changed is it's just a logic error. I wasn't really thinking. The more and less should be changed based on the control statements. But 199 is less than, so this evaluates to false because 199 is not more than 200. Is not equal to 200. Else, okay, number must be less than 200. So that's elif, and you can have many elifs. You can have another elif if you want, and another condition, and another, do whatever you want. So that's just how an if else statement is initialized. One more thing to note is, what if we want to figure out the condition where we want to know which condition it jumps to, but we actually don't want to do anything? There's a keyword named pass. Pass just means we're not going to do anything. Right? We didn't do anything, right? 200, forget it. Okay, just ignore this. We're going to check this is 200 is not more than 200. That's false. 200 is equal to 200, so what are we going to do? We're going to do pass, which means we're telling Python we don't want to execute any sort of specific commands, right? We see that if we remove the pass and we try running and it says, hey, we expected some code here. You didn't put any code here. That's why we need to pass to tell Python, okay, here's some code. And in this case, we don't want to do anything, okay? That's the basics of if-else statements. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. Otherwise, give the video a like if you like it. Subscribe if you like the videos in this channel. Hope to see you in the next video, next part. Happy New Year's Eve, or Happy New Year's if you're watching this a bit later.